different forums to ensure that that we continue learning as a WOPA team and WOPA as a whole. And we also look forward to collaborating even with the county government and the national government. Yeah, and just to report that maybe there is my 2 minutes. I have a few seconds. Yeah, just to report that actually WOPA was among the grassroots organizations that pushed for first ever Kakamega County SGBV policy. Yeah, that is currently there, and we have pushed now in the whole country. We have pushed for, we are the second county to have the SGBV Sexual Act after Nairobi.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Congratulations. Lucy, what would be the main challenges that you foresee moving forward in sustaining the strategic direction that WVL has now enabled your organization to begin that journey? What would be the main challenge you foresee in sustainability?
Thank you very much, Daisy. Yeah, thank you very much. The challenges are many, but the main ones are that as an organization during the project, we had a budget line for what we call reasonable accommodations. The reasonable accommodations, of course, for those who may not know, are things that you do in absence of accessibility. So like what we've done just here right now, what we've done in absence of ramp, we've done a reasonable accommodation to be able to enable me to be in this panel. So those reasonable accommodations, part of them was we had as a budget for sign language interpreters. We are no longer going to have that. We've not been able to have that since the WVL ended. But what we did, we have already thought ahead, and what we did was we looked for partners and we trained community leaders and champions on basic sign language, so that even in the absence of the sign language, professional sign language interpreters, at the community level, when we have an activity, people who are deaf will not just sit there and go. So even in our in my organization, we have 2 people who have already trained as for basic sign language.
Thank you.
That is one. And then, of course, another big challenge is for people, they don't understand. Why are we speaking about issues of women? Because for them, when they see us, they see disability. So they don't, when we go to like intervene for girls with disabilities, and of course without, because for us, we don't only focus on those. So somebody will ask you, is this also a disabled person? Why are you here? This is not a disabled girl. This is not a disabled, because they don't want you to intervene. So that is a challenge.
Okay, thank you.
Kindly let me say this one. The one we were able to, it was there. The problem is that our intervention was in one county. What happened to my mic? Or you can hear me?
1 2 1 2.
Yeah.
Check.
So before the WVL, there is this culture in our community where when you do defilement, when you rape, then there is the
thought of that, you know, that you go to the supermarket, then you have your that support this organization. I think that is a very good strategy, and I hope we are also noting as we move eating. So Eva, in addition to what colleagues have said, what are some of the things, I'm sorry, I don't know this. What are some of the strategies against SGBV are doing to diversify? Ani tusikuwe na basket moja. Yes, it is good to depend on Canada and care and Urgent Action Fund Africa. But what else? What can we do away from this traditional fund that your organization are exploring or plan to explore to get more money to continue doing your work, considering that WVL has come to an end?
Thank you very much for that question. Yes, currently we are exploring on how to take advantage of the digital platforms that we have, because previously during the COVID-19, we partnered with some local organizations. We did digital fundraising, and it was actually very responsive. It was our first time doing it, and we were actually shocked by the
they have they have a monthly or minutes, and they have a clear strategies on how they want to do their own things, including even a merry-go-round. In our community we have child naming, so it is very traditional way of ensuring that we build the power from below using local enables platform like those I've just shared with you. So that is exactly what we are doing at the community level. We've also ensured that apart from that, as an organization, we need a sustainability. So what we've started doing is look around and ensure that we utilize the local available resources. Like, for example, Baringo is known for honey. So what we've done is we've built ourselves around that indigeneity of where we belong by conserving trees that are facing extinction, like acacia tree, because in Baringo we have Chuliflora, in fashion. So what we are doing now in that ruling, so we have a leadership role as an organization to ensure that that one goes beyond current generation, and it is understood and even quoted in the manner that it was made before. So those are some of the levels that we are exploring sustainability. We have a number of networks, and we've just built local networks. One of it is ensuring that the issues of budget pre-session. Currently, we are partnership with the Center for Enhancing Democracy, that is MTG, in running pre-session budgets. So that when subsequent budget forum, because that is one of the things that it's able to thrive on its own. Already we have women leading in the process who are women who are budget champions. So that is part of the sustainability elements that we are introducing, and we even ensure that it is thriving even at the moment.
Okay, thank you so much. So those who were in this room and thought you'll get money by working alone, you have been told that is not going to happen. So hopefully by the end of this meeting on Friday, you will have at least known 2 or 3 groups that you can actually come together, put your strategies together, and see if you can get money. Because as you can see from this discussion, networks, partnerships, alliance is one of the strategies that have enabled some of us to get resources even beyond a WVL project. Thank you so much, Christine, for highlighting something that I find very profound, and that is grassroots movement building. Working, as we know, as speaking as a funder, sometimes no one funds people they don't know, unfortunately, but importantly, no one funds what they don't know. So making sure that the work that you are doing is visible, because that's what you have been saying, that you are able to visibilize the work of some of these groups that you are working with, so that if someone is maybe on social media and says, okay, I want to go to Baringo, who can I support in Baringo? And when they Google, you're the first one to come up and say, when organizing a community dialogue, this date, inviting ABCD, someone would want to know, I want to know more about Ewen and what they are doing. So let us make sure that the work that we are doing, we are also visibilizing that work, be it using media, be it traditional media, new media. Just make sure that we are able to communicate the work that we are doing so that we are able to attract financial resources. Lastly, because I don't want to be the person standing between you and your lunch, because I can see some people are looking at me sideways. So I'm going to speak, lastly, we are going to talk about an important issue, and that is human resource. The people who are supporting us in our organization to move this work ahead. And I will start with you, Lucy. What are some of the things you are doing or strategies you are putting in place to ensure that you are able to retain some of the staff or personnel that you were able to get because of maybe of this WVL project?
Okay, thank you so much. One of the things that we are doing is to make sure that even in the subsequent funding that we have, we still bring them on board, and then we make sure that they, what do we say, that they resonate with us. We give them passion to work for people with disabilities. So that passion, we know will keep them. Somebody told me that sometimes that passion without anything in the table, again, is not viable. But we know that that there is that passion. Then whatever opportunities we get, even to send them to, for example, to attend like meetings where they can, So we send them. We make use of them, and then there is this. I was thinking of adding about financial sustainability, which I think will double up for what I'm answering now. Issues around having. We are thinking of how we can have an income generating activity that can be able to continue raising money for us beyond the WVL, and whatever money that we are raising there, we can just continue giving them the stipends that can be able to retain them. But most importantly is that we are planning to empower the young people. We want to empower more young people with disabilities, especially women with disabilities, to mentor them so that they can be able to carry the work, even if other volunteers leave. At least we have some people in our organization that have the capacity to do the work that the volunteers were doing in case they exit. Another thing was that we have started, because of the distance again, when you talk about finances, when you talk about human resource, people have to move from one place to another. So what we did is that we have started mentoring other organizations of persons with disabilities, so that we don't have to go a long distance. Whatever we were like interventions that we were supposed to do in another ward, it is done by an OPD in that ward. So KWCC doesn't have to go to Ward B from Ward A to do an intervention. We empower them. They are able to do, during the project, of course, we empowered them, we trained them, so they are able to take that work. We don't have to go there personally. So we cut on the cost, we cut on the the time that we engage even our volunteers. Yeah.
Thank you, Lucy. And yes, you mentioned passion, and passion does not put food on the table. But yes, I know this work is driven by passion, really, and to see change in the society or the community that we work with. Thank you for highlighting some of the motivating strategies that you are doing, the issues of training, the issues of creating spaces for them also to be in places like this one, to just have knowledge as way of motivating them. And I like the idea of also mentoring other women with disability organizations, so that then they can pick up where you are not able to pick up. So Leah, we want to hear from you some of the strategies that you are doing to retain and motivate key staff and volunteers. I hope it's not passion as well, but we'll see.
For that one, and I must confess that it is really very hard to retain. Just as I talk, my finance officer will be relocating to Australia. The program officer is now a lecturer, is Dr. Joseph Lolemtum, is going to Turkana as a lecturer at the university. It's painful to let them go, but then what can we do? They are also seeking for greener pastures. Looking at the money that we offer and comparing it somewhere else, it's a bit hard. But then that's the way life is. People come and they go. But then we have positioned ourselves, we the members of POEO, strategically, so that, as she says, whenever somebody moves suddenly like that, we have one of us who has also undergone trainings, so that you can stand there for a while as we look for somebody else. And that is life. So people come, people go, but then the organization must run. One good thing about this is we don't want to let the government just stay there and watch NGOs do the work for them. This is the work that is supposed to be done by them. So we need, as POEO, we sat down 2 weeks ago to say, and we said this, we want to push the government to be doing things for the community, the rights that the community need. So let the government, the county government, do the work. And also, let's not bring solutions from POEO alone. Now we are working like this, Carol. We are going back to the community level. I've talked in London about this localization. We've done it again in Amsterdam. We've done it in Brussels, even in Ethiopia here at the AU. Localization. There is this SCLR, Survivor Community-Led Response. This is at the community level. So when you're talking about localization, bring in SCLR, because it brings that localization strategy well to the community. So we, POEO, want to work with the community. We want to start now solving our problems as a community, not as POEO. We want to unite with the community. This is a problem. Can you sell a goat? Can you sell something? So that together we can bring our resources so that we can solve a community problem. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I like the fact that you have highlighted something that is critical, and that is succession planning or transition plan. So because you are working with the community, you are training, if someone leaves, there is someone who can easily just pick up where this person left, so that then there is no gap. And I think one of the biggest challenges that we have is that gap that is created when someone leaves the organization. So moving forward, as you can see, some of the strategies that are working for some of the organization is just making sure there is a plan in place where if someone leaves, there's no gap that then will take you some steps behind. Yes, I have not spoken to who. This is Catherine. Violet and Catherine, I know I've not spoken to you. Because you had highlighted some strategies that I was referring to, but I would want to speak with you now, with regards to now the WVL project and the staff that you have, so personnel, human resource that you have already because of the WVL project. So we'll start with you, Catherine. Which key strategies are you employing to strengthen the skills and the capacity of your team to adapt post-WVL?
So one of the key strategies that I'll say we are currently employing is that we are doing a cross-training and skill diversification. So what we realize is that we are a small organization and we don't have like the capacity of having more than 10 staffs. So what we've done is that if you are a finance manager, we've ensured that you've also trained in procurement management, such that we don't have the resources to pay for a procurement management. It's kind of expensive. So what we've done, we've ensured that they've trained in that space also, that they can double up as the same. If you are a project manager, you've also trained as a communication person. Also, I'm looking into, so basically what we've done is that we've ensured that they've also trained in other things that will enable them to strengthen their capacity and also adapt past the WVL. Of course, some of them were in WVL, and we also have other projects that are running, and maybe we don't have a communications person. So instead of letting go of the staff, we transition them to the other project where they serve as not only as a finance person, but also they can serve as a communications person or other procurement.
Thank you. So Violet, before, yeah, come in please with the same question.
Okay. Thank you, Carol. One of them is what she has mentioned. I'll not repeat it because it's the same exactly what she said. And ikifika kwangu inakata. Yeah, another strategy. Earlier, I mentioned about that one or other policies we have is leadership plan, mentorship plan for young leaders, and succession plan. And we use these tools to identify from our staff and volunteers those with the leadership skills. Then we nurture and mentor them to ensure that tomorrow Violet will not be there. What will happen? Are they going to close the shops because Violet is not there? This is an organization that was started with a vision to support the community, with a dream to make sure the voices of the community, especially the vulnerable people, are heard. Will I die with them? No. WOPA has to continue. And for it to continue, we are mentoring our young people that we are working with through our leadership plan. If you are keen, I'm referring to the plans, right? Yeah, you know those plans for us, they are like the Constitution of Kenya. Now for us, it's WOPA. I must refer. And that's why I said that what we are doing now is what in those documents. So we are ensuring we mentor them that who can, after, just like my colleague Leah has mentioned, if tomorrow I'm not there, or if so-and-so is not there, who is taking over, who can take this role. And also we are involving them in and encourage them to work on huge projects to challenge their mind, so that when they are taking such challenge, you find like they feel good, they have accomplished, and they are eager to continue working and continue serving. Also peer-to-peer exchange learning, where we are learning from these organizations who are ahead of us, organizations who we are working on the same issues, and we are able to learn, and they are able to implement in our own organization. And also the aspect of the strategy of follow-up, feedback, and evaluating, giving them feedback after they have worked on a project. We follow up, we give them feedback, we correct where it should be corrected. And we also have employed the strategy of rewarding them. Those who they have done well, we reward them, and they feel good. They want to do more. They want to go for more. They want to try something new. Also, we are offering Caro safe space for them to grow, to ensure, and I'm grateful that CARE, like for instance, the share aspects, where all of them have done it to ensure we are offering all of us, we are working at a safe space where we are comfortable, and it gives us a room to grow as a team. Yeah. I think the aspect of capacity building they mentioned, yeah, that's why I don't want to repeat.
Okay. Eva, you have one last burning thing.
Yes, I would like to just to add on all what she has said. I think I am a good example. Like for me, prior to joining WVL-Women Against Sexual and Gender Violence, I used to be an activist on the ground, and we used to meet there. And now they used to see me and ask me, what are you doing, and things like that. But over time, they invited me now to their space, because they saw that I was a young girl, and if I could be given the right direction, get some panel beating here and there, you can be you can be well. So they invited me. I joined their board. They chose me to be their vice chairperson of the board. Through that, I got exposure now. What do board members do? What kind of conversations do they make? And through that, I started now volunteering to the organization because I had some free time helping them here and there. Because also small grassroots organization, you have the gap of the employees, as you have had. And one of maybe the rewarding opportunities that I can say, like what my colleagues have said, is opportunities for rewarding them, and also for exposure. Because look at me now, here today, sitting here at this panel. It would not have been because Isiolo Women Against Sexual and Gender Violence extended that hand to me and offered to mentor me and given me courage to also go to spaces like Miss President. So I feel like these strategies, the mentorship is working, the capacity building, I think it is working, and the reward. I also feel like the young people out here, we have a lot to offer. We are a resource. So please invite us to your organizations, invite us as volunteers, and I'm sure we can be able to contribute one thing or another for the success and impacts of our community. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Eva. And yeah, I agree with mentorship. Mentorship is very important. And one of the things that I also wanted just to reaffirm, Violet, what you said about safe spaces. So we have to create safe spaces from, harm, violation, because we can't be part of the problem, when it comes to violence against girls and women. And that is, I think, very critical, that as leaders in our organization, in our movements, we have to be intentional when it comes to safe spaces for our colleagues and also the people that we work with. So we have been speaking for almost 1.5 hours, and I know some of you might have some questions or clarification. So I only have 10 minutes for feedback, or 15. So we have 15 minutes for reflections from you or questions that you might have to our panelists. So just raise your hand and a mic will come to you, then you can ask your question. Daisy, yeah, I can just, okay, all right, okay. So any question, reflection, or we are happy with what we have had? Even just saying thank you for the strategies.
Question here. One, two. Check.
Yeah, thank you very much. I come from Busia. And my question is, I totally concur with my sister from Turkana. But I want to ask this especially to the youthful.
West Pokot, not
Oh,
Turkana.
sorry, West Pokot. I know I've met you in another forum. Yeah, from West Pokot. Most of the things that you're doing, be it FGM, you discover you are totally going against the status quo. And for those of you from Isiolo, SGBV, I've been working with SGBV from 1998, and it has literally defined my lifestyle. No friends, no nothing. Yeah. Now, I want to ask, how are you protecting yourselves? Because sometimes when we come here, it's like we talk so, yeah, like we do this, we do this. How are you protecting yourselves from attacks? How are you protecting yourselves when maybe you have a very sensitive case in court? How are you protecting yourselves? And to the moderator, I also want to tell you, passion is very important in this work. Without passion, I know, like, if I was just looking at donor money, I would have quit. But sometimes passion makes me do some very crazy things. Yeah. So how are you protecting yourself? What are the challenges? Especially where maybe a perpetrator is somebody from. The other day I was dealing with a sitting MCA who had defiled a child. And it was not easy. How are you protecting yourselves? And your psychological. Yeah.
Good afternoon. My question, and this is coming from us as a funder, as Urgent Action Fund Africa. And my question to the panelist is, hello? Okay. My question is this, as a funder, and the partnership that we've had, what does a good partnership look like in terms of we given funding for a project you're implementing on the ground? This could be from the WVL project or other donors that you have. What are those things that make a relationship work?
So we'll take the last one, then they respond, then we'll proceed from there.
Yeah, thank you so much, the women here in front of us today. Mine is just not a question, but actually to congratulate these women seated here and the women who are in this house. I remember all of you have visited you in the field, and I remember a visit we had at Poweo, where I felt very challenged to meet women, actually the ones who went back to school, then just narrating to us how they even didn't hire a consultant to have their strategy plan. These women sat from scratch, and they have a very beautiful strategy plan that out of that they've attracted a lot of funding, like the way yeah, she was saying. So, and again, adding on to what she has asked about how they manage to protect themselves. I remember when we went to West Pokot, those women were saying, even when they were going to respond to calls to, rescue survivors, sometimes they are met with bandits who have now, even the aspect of FGM is very sensitive. They have to, think about how they are going to rescue that survivor, even the terrain. They use motorbikes, and I remember that time we met two women, elderly women who had, they had a motorbike accident as they were going to respond to victims of survivors of gender-based violence. So, and I remember those women were telling us, even right now, we don't even need, us to give, you to give us money. We just need an old vehicle, that we can use to rescue those women with the vehicles.
One, two.
And I remember them telling us, even go look at care offices, the old vehicles that you no longer use. We are willing to take those vehicles to the garage so that we can get, because once you rescue a survivor who was, if she can't walk, how then you have again to put her in between you and the motorbike, and you can imagine her sitting on a motorbike, then again sitting either with the survivor of gender-based and maybe not one or two. So it's also high time that we start thinking beyond, in terms of ensuring that the first responders, the people who are working directly with these, survivors, are well protected against both internal and external, attacks and all that, and also for their well-being. Right now, I know there is a woman from West Pokot who got injured, broke her leg because she fell in that terrain going to rescue a survivor as they try to maneuver, also at the same time trying to escape or even beat the bandits where they are trying to protect all that. So it's high time that here today we start thinking about that as well. So thank you.
someone else. So yes, passion is very, very, very important in this work. But my response was moving away from the issue of unpaid work that women are subjected to. So the issue of as a woman, you can always do it for free. That is what I want us to think beyond. Yes, passion is critical, but as women who are doing this important work, we also have to think about our labor rights when it comes to compensation of the work that we are doing. We are tired of being told that as women, you can get less compared to a man, yet you're doing more work. And remember, the one that you're doing at home, the care work, is not paid for. So that is why I said about passion. Yeah, so just to make it clear. So about protection, Leah, do you want to have the first jab?
Yes.
Okay.
Just like you've said, it is risky. You know, putting also yourself in this person's shoes is saying that he married this girl not knowing it's wrong to do that, and he has paid 60 cows. So you, Madam Leah from Poeo, you've taken that girl away and put her to school, and then I've not been refunded back my cows. So they come to your house at night, the young men from that village, they tell you, Madam Leah, can you wake up and give us our money or give us the cows back or bring back the woman that we have married? So it wasn't easy, but right now, it's a bit easier because we've contacted the county commissioner who has provided us with security, but then sometimes they cannot go out with us because they complain sometimes they don't have petrol, they don't have a car around, they don't have all those things around. That's why we've opted to go using motorbikes. But then when you take a motorbike, you have to take 2 for the policemen, and sometimes they're not comfortable, they really don't want to go. You have to hire sometimes Probox. You hire those small cars to take the policemen while you use a motorbike. You see? So when the care team and Uraya came to our offices, we requested and said, if there are some vehicles parking there, please give us 2 so that we can use them instead of the motorbikes. And you know, some people like my size and Daisy, we don't fit in those motorbikes. We cause imbalances sometimes when they ride. So, as she has presented it, please, if there are vehicles there, old ones, we don't want even the new ones. Give us the old ones, we use them. And remember, FGM is still in West Pokot. Child marriage is still in West Pokot. Please come and help us fight this. So, about the risk, it is there still, but then we are working together with the county commissioner's office to give us the chiefs and the APs and the policemen. When they are available, they come to the field with us. And that's the way we've been working for now.
Okay, Eva, anything, a strategy to enhancing your security or protection, considering you are at the forefront?
Yes, thank you very much. One of the strategies we have been using at WVL-Women is when we say network, we don't only network with people from these organizations and funders and the other people in our ecosystem. We also network with the paralegals. We network with maybe the Law Society of Kenya in your county. We network with the judiciary. We network with the county commissioner's office. We network with the area managers, sub-areas, the sub-areas in your area, with the chiefs, with the psychosocial support in your level 5 or level 4 hospitals. So those are some of the people in our networks. When we have our meetings in the community, we try to see how we can be able to bring them alongside with us, because you may not lack a case or 2 where one needs psychosocial support. So for us, we know that we have mapped them out. We know who is doing which work and how we can be able to reach them. Whenever we have a case maybe of we need support as individuals, or we know someone in our community who needs such kind of a support, we usually link them up now maybe with the county social workers. And if they need some legal assistance, we link them up with the paralegals and the Law Society of Kenya for those who are taking, because they take pro bono cases. So those are kind of the mechanisms that we have, we we have tried to use in our organization. Thank you.
Thank you. And the last question
Can I
about
come in quickly?
Lucy, less than 1 minute,
Yes,
right?
less than 1
Okay.
minute. Kindly, what we've employed is that when we are doing response, we don't go as an organization. We have always made sure that the provincial administration, nowadays they are called national government something, national government GAF, GAO, national government officers. Yeah, we always make sure that we have either the chief, we make sure the DCC is aware of our response, so that we are not in the front line. They are in the front line, but we are working with them. Yeah.
Catherine, I wanted you to answer the other question about partnership. What does good partnership looks like?
I was to answer at an individual level in terms of protection. So maybe I use an example. So myself, I'm a survivor of FGM, but I also work with survivors, and I provide safe spaces for survivors. So whenever you listen to their stories, of course, you get derailed, having gone what I've gone through. So what I've done, I've took the initiative to go through a 4-year training on emotional well-being and self-care. And I'm happy because I was looking at the book that was provided in the packages that we received. It has a couple of, when you open it, you read about self-care. And personally, I've learned to, one thing, we are not able to save everybody, so I've learned to appreciate that if you save one, it's enough. At least you've made an impact. But also taking care of myself. So with myself, I've learned to learn when it's work, it's work. When it's family time, it's family time. And I've also provided a provisions for, I call it like a me time. How do I take care of myself? So I've identified some of the things that I can do that will enable me to move away from the work and the family thing. So I want to encourage you all to identify your self-care. How best can you take care of yourself, and come up with a plan in terms of self-care. But also have an attachment, have a group of a network of individuals who can also support you in terms of emotional well-being.
The partnership, quickly, less than 1.5 minutes. The question was, how does a partnership look like, especially for WROs and the funders, that kind of partnership?
I think
It means when you see this, you say, aha, this is a good partnership.
I look at it in terms of good relationship. And one thing the donors have shown is for us calling them as our donors, but rather partners. And we look at them not as our funders, but also as our co-implementers. And I want to take a good example. One of my donors currently they are celebrating a 10-year anniversary back in London in a Girls Summit. And I've not only developed a relationship with them as my donor, but also we've gone beyond friendship. And they just reach out to me like, Catherine, can we take your work and actually showcase what you've been doing in Narok during our festival that will be on 11th? And I actually shared my work. So we are not relating only at a donor level, but we've gone further, like being friends, that I can reach out to them in terms of any gap, and they'll help me in terms of, if it's in terms of I need support in developing a proposal, I can develop and I can give them, and they will look into it and tell me you can improve in this area. If they get opportunities and they share. And I want to actually appreciate Madam Wangeshi. She's been getting opportunities in terms of grants, and making sure that she shares them with us, and actually even going further, that if you need any assistance in terms of proposal writing, whether you need any clarification, you can reach out. So she doesn't have she has an open door policy. Let me use that word. Thank you.
Okay. Lucy, Sawa, yeah.
I really have to say this. I really have to give to answer this, and say that a good partnership for me is where partners understand each other. It will look very awkward if you are a partner of an organization of people with disabilities and you don't understand their needs, because they have specific needs. More, yeah, I mean that are more than the others. So if you come to my organization, I tell you, I'll need a sign language interpreter, and you are like, for what? Then it looks very awkward. We need partners to understand each other, and that one, really, WVL has given us the way. It's also a partnership where you don't bully people because you are funding them. You know, you bully them around. It's good to have that mutual understanding, mutual respect as you go along with your work, and that this one I can really salute crew for that, because they have worked with us in that way. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Allow me to close this. Okay.
Yeah, I just want to mention on how does a good partnership look like, and I just wanted to imagine, or even that the success of partnership and good practice become emulated by other organization or other community.